What's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the film Transformers Rise of the Beast. Now this is a standalone sequel to Bumblebee, which we got in 2018, and you know that was a prequel to the Michael Bay Transformer films. So now this is actually like a sequel to that particular film, but they are all still overall like connected. Now this particular film is directed by Stephen Capley Jr. if I think I'm saying his name right. At this time, it's another period piece type film, kind of like how Bumblebee was. It's set like in the 90s, in 1994 to be exact. And this time, like the Autobots must stop like this new threat that's coming, that's after like this so-called key that is all-powerful, like being known as a unicorn. That's kind of awesome seeing unicorn being brought into like the live-action films. Like he's like a huge, like being that's like capable of eating like whole planets, and you do get to see him do this kind of at the beginning of the film. He like eats like a whole planet. I think that's pretty cool because he's also trying to get this other key, so he can. I forgot what the key was for. I think it's like for them to go to like other like different like portals into like other like galaxies or something like that. But this mysterious key is known as the Trans-Warp Key, and it can open portals through like space and time, and that's what Unicron is really after, because the film does open at first like on the home world of the Maximals, and they are like an advanced race of like Cybertronians who have like beast mode. They can transform into like animals like the gorilla, or you could say the ape, and like the bird like thing, like the leopard or the lion or whatever that is, the tiger. But at the same time, like Unicron himself, he has his own things known as Terracons. And they are led by Scourge, and that's the one who leads them. He's like very powerful. Cause I think they said that Unicron actually has like his powers like manifested into like Scourge. That's why Scourge is so powerful. Because when you first see him fighting or something, especially when he has like a battle with like Optimus Prime, he easily like beats up Optimus Prime, like Bumblebee and all them. I don't want to spoil the film too much, But yeah, that he's actually seeking this key, then the film jumps to like modern time. Well, not modern times, but like into the 90s, which is like 1994. And you do have the character of Noah Diaz. He's played by Anthony Ramos, and he's like an ex-military electronics expert who is living with his family in Brooklyn. Because at the same time, he also has like a younger brother who is like suffering from, I think, like sickle cell or something like that. And he also has a mother and so on who's like working her job and all that kind of stuff like that. But as the film goes on, it's a pretty entertaining film. I thought it had some good battles and so on. But at the same time, with the key being discovered like on Earth, now like the Terracons are sent by Unicron to achieve the key. And at the same time, Optimus Prime sees like the key is actually on Earth, and he knows that's their way to get back home. So he's actually trying to seek out the key too as well. And that's when all of them like come together and they meet up and so on. That's when Anthony he finds out about the Autobots and all that kind of stuff like that. Then you also have Dominique Fishback, and she plays Alana Wallace, and she's like an artifact researcher who works in this museum, and she learns all about like the artifacts and so on. And she also gets pulled into like this conflict between like the Autobots and the Terracons and Unicron and all that kind of stuff. Now Peter Cullen, he does return to provide the voice of Optimus Prime. He does sound like awesome as always. Then you also have Ron Perlman, who provides the voice of Optimus Prime. He's like the one that's like a gorilla, and he's like the leader of the Maximals. Then you also have Michelle Yeoh as a Razor, and you also have Peter Dinklage as Scourge. Now Scourge, like I said, is kind of like the villain of the film, even though it's really Unicron who's like really definitely the most powerful one, but it's really Scourge, and we really get to see them have like a lot of balance when you can see how powerful he is and all that. Then you have Pete Davidson as Mirage. Now I must admit, his character does kind of stand out, Mirage, because he's the one who bees with Noah, he's like the one that can transform into the car and all that kind of stuff. So I do think he's pretty cool, Then you also have Bumblebee in the film too as well. And another one I thought really stood out was like RK. I thought she was just so awesome in the film, she's like cool, and everything. She's voiced by Lisa Koshy. I think that's how I pronounce her name, Eliza Koshy. I think she kind of stood out in the film too as well, like along with Mirage, as far as like the Autobots go. And there's like other Autobots you get to see throughout the film and so on too as well. And I like the look of Optimus Prime in this film too. He looks very similar to how he looked like on Bumblebee and so on. Now the soundtrack in the film, I must admit, is awesome. I'm very familiar with like a lot of the songs in this film because I grew up like in the 90s and so on, and the 80s. So I know like a lot of the songs they were playing there. I thought like they kind of take me back to the 90s. But there's one thing I kind of had a problem with, like with the film too. At times I do feel like it's kind of dragging, but the idea that and of course this is like the universe universe of the Transformers, you know. But the idea that like Noah, you know, played by Anthony, and I thought his performance as Noah Diaz, Anthony Ramos, I thought he did a pretty good job. From my opinion, if I'm not mistaken, like his performance as Noah Diaz, I thought was pretty good. Like his acting, I believe. But I thought like the idea that Noah and Alina or Alana Wallace, how they can just accept these robots just showing up from like outer space and so on, and like having conflicts and all that. It just was something kind of off about that. Like, but we know already about the Transformers existed in our world, you know, that's like the franchise, you know. It's just still was something that seemed like just that was kind of off about. I think that was kind of like weak as far as the plot go, being them just like accepting the Autobots and all that kind of stuff, you know. I just leave it at that. But overall, it was still a pretty entertaining film. Like the battles and all that, I thought were pretty cool, the song and everything. And I like they're like bringing in more stuff, and they continue to connect the films, you know, to like the overall franchise. And it was like a big like surprise at the end. And I was kind of surprised that they did that. You know, I couldn't believe that they're finna do something like that, or try to do something like that. But I'm not gonna spoil the film though. But in the end, I thought it was a pretty decent Transformers film. I think I've seen better, and I still don't think it's as good as Bumblebee, the previous one they had. But anyway, I'm giving Transformers Rise of the Beast, I'm going to give this a B-. And I would definitely recommend this for the fans of like the Michael Bay Transformer films, even the Bumblebee films, because all these are still like connected, you know. And I could say I'm giving this a B-. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.